Breaking news, the Biden administration with an angry response to accusations that the U.S. was responsible for the helicopter crash that killed Iran's president.
The United States had no part to play in that crash, and that's a fact, plain and simple.
That's after a former top Iranian official blamed U.S. sanctions for preventing the country from modernizing its helicopters and planes. Iran sending a team of investigators to the crash site to determine what caused the helicopter to go down, killing all 9 people on board, including Iran's foreign minister, whom I spoke to in an exclusive interview almost exactly a month ago today, the night that Israel had attacked Iran in response to the Iranian massive attack on Israeli soil. Fred Pleitgen, who has reported extensively from Iran, is out front tonight.
Helikopterin parçaları burada.
Iran's presidential helicopter completely destroyed after crashing into a mountain in the remote north of the country. Dense fog, frigid conditions making the recovery efforts even harder. President Ibrahim Raisi, along with Foreign Minister Hossein Amir Abdollahian and 7 others, were killed in the crash. Rescuers having to carry the bodies away through the rugged terrain. A CNN Turk journalist showing how challenging the conditions are.
This place is a very difficult terrain with dense trees, deep valleys, and steep mountains. We can say that this is the most challenging terrain of Iran.
Raisi inaugurated a dam with the president of Azerbaijan and was traveling to nearby Tabriz. The chopper, a decades-old American-made Bell 212, a model developed for the Canadian military in the 1960s. The chopper crashed in poor visibility. Iran, under heavy sanctions, has been unable to acquire more modern helicopters. President Ibrahim Raisi was rumored to be a possible successor to Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, who's 84 years old. As the chopper went missing, the supreme leader taking the reins, chairing a meeting of Iran's Security Council and vowing the country's government will continue to work.
Be assured that there will be no disruption in the country's affairs.
Black flags have been hoisted across Iran as the country's leadership has ordered 5 days of mourning, canceling most public events. Also deeply mourning the country's foreign minister, Hossein Amir Abdollahian, who was instrumental in the past months as Iran and Israel came to the brink of full-on war and traded missile strikes. Abdollahian also challenging the U.S. in a recent interview on CNN's Out Front with Aaron Burnett.
I do think that America must pay closer attention and focus on the adventure-seeking regime in Israel so that such a crisis will not happen in Gaza, because Netanyahu showed he will not respect any of the red lines.
Tehran has launched an investigation into the crash that killed 2 key figures of the Islamic Republic's leadership, while vowing that the nation will carry on.
That was our Fred Pleitgen reporting. Out front now, Kareem Sadjapur, senior fellow at the Carnegie Endowment for International Peace. And Kareem, when I spoke to the foreign minister almost exactly a month ago in that exclusive interview, he called the Iranian attack inside Israel a, quote, clear message to the Zionist regime. And then he went on to say this.
In case the Israeli regime embarks on adventurism again and takes action against the interests of Iran, the next response from us will be immediate and at a maximum level. It will be decisive.
It was a hardline view, but does his death and the death of the president of Iran, what does it mean, Kareem? Do the hardliners become even more emboldened now?
You know, Aaron, I don't think the foreign minister's death is that consequential. President Raisi's death is not consequential in the immediate term, in that he wasn't Iran's most powerful man. He didn't really have much say over Iran's regional conduct, its nuclear ambitions. But Raisi's death is very consequential for Iran's future because he was thought to be one of only 2 serious contenders to replace the supreme leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, and Ayatollah Khamenei is 85 years old. The other person thought to be a serious contender is Khamenei's son, Mojtaba Khamenei. So this really calls into question how easily the regime is going to be able to politically transition in a post-Khamenei Iran.
Well, when you talk about the supreme leader, that there were, as you see it, perhaps two serious contenders, one of whom died on that helicopter crash. The other is the son of the current supreme leader. It does raise questions. And Iranian officials, they've said it was a hard landing. They called it a crash landing, hard landing at first, bad weather, foggy conditions. But I know you say few in Iran are likely to believe it was an accident.
Aaron, in philosophy, there's the concept of Occam's razor, which is that, usually the simplest explanation is the most plausible one. In this case, you had an old helicopter flying through very difficult terrain and very difficult weather. But I think few Iranians will probably believe that official story. When you're living under a dictatorship, you come to question everything that dictatorship tells you. So there's a lot of, I'm sure, theories out there, whether it was the supreme leader and the Revolutionary Guards who may have engineered this, or whether Israel had a role in it. But I doubt that many Iranians are going to believe the official explanation.
All right, Kareem, thank you very much. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Kareem Sadjapor, as I said.